I have a history with Vectorman. So, when I was younger, I was at Toys R Us store and I wanted to spend some of my Christmas money instead of saving it up. Because I was like, no, I want to spend, not save. I still have that problem, please help. So, I'm looking through the Xbox 360 games and I spot Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. At the time, I was pretty young. I love Sonic games. Since this before I bought Sonic 06. I trusted anything with Sonic on it. I was such an ignorant child, and I still am. I still make impulsive purchases, like buying Anthem for $5. Anyway, so I bought the collection thinking it was only Sonic, and I popped it in my Xbox 360. Around the days when sometimes you just pop a disc into a console and instantly play it, I miss that. And then when I popped in the disc and started up the game, I found a massive list of games I did not care for. So I pretty much only played the Sonic games. Shinobi 3, because I have a history of the Shinobi series, Golden Axe, Phantasy Star, Streets of Rage, Alex Kidd, and of course, Vectorman. Something about this game impressed me. Maybe it was the atmosphere, maybe it's the level design, or the soundtrack, or it's the design of Vectorman. Well, whether it was, it impressed me as a child. So now that I finally own a Sega Genesis Mini, it's time to see if Vectorman still impresses me, since I never finished it. It was always too hard for 7-year-old me. Well, it's been a while since I've played it. Let's give it a shot. I've been playing it on the Sega Genesis Mini today. So, Vectorman is a run-and-gun platformer released on the Sega Genesis on October 24th, 1995 in North America. The game was developed by Blue Sky Software and released by Sega. First, we need to address something that's quite apparent, the graphics. This game used 3D graphics that are rendered as sprites, similar to games like Donkey Kong Country. You may have noticed, Vectorman himself is made of multiple spheres. Well, that's because he has used to flex the 23 different sprites that make him up. That is a very impressive flex, Mr. Sega. Except not as impressive as the Donkey Kong Country games, so you still lost there. But at the time, both the graphics and gameplay were praised. So why is it not always talked about these days? Well, by this point, the Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1 were out, so the Sega Genesis was becoming the old thing, and the Saturn and PS1 were the new kid on the block. But how does Vectorman hold up these days? Pretty well, actually. Sure, it's pretty hard and requires a lot of repetition and getting good. I hate that phrase so much, but it does fit here. But when the gameplay works, it works well. You only get 3 lives though, which makes it pretty painful. You can collect more, but that pain is resolved by using the full health cheat code and save states. Sure, the game probably wasn't meant to play with save states, but I'm just using the tools I've been given, so please, lower your pitchforks. Overall though, it is a pretty solid running gun. You have multiple power-ups to use and everything. Sure, sometimes the game is a little conservative with checkpoints, but it at least, has plenty of shortcuts in the levels. That makes it pretty fun, especially the first level where you can learn that if you double jump onto a tower, you can then jump onto some invisible ground and then get a power-up. Plus, Vectorman has plenty of speed. He doesn't go as fast as a character like, Sonic, but Vectorman is no turtle either, even though he could be compared to one as far as looks go. Sometimes characters that move fast can feel like you're walking on ice, but that problem doesn't exist in Vectorman. The platforming is pretty simple most of the time. That's a giant positive, because this game already gets plenty of difficulty from the enemies. There are enemies everywhere, but that is kind of expected from a run-gun game, since without enemies to gun, you just run. Some enemies are just birds that dive at you, or they shoot you. There isn't really any other kind of common enemy in the game. Other levels aren't super long. At most, they'll take you 10 minutes if you're exploring every part of the stage. Certain levels are extremely short, like level 2. Level 2 is painful though. So at this point in the game, I had 2 lives and 1 health, and I wasn't using cheat codes yet. So I had to crawl my way through it. The level itself is just one giant boss fight that takes less than a minute. You just have to shoot the hand to deal damage. Sounds simple, right? Well, the concept is simple, but there is sometimes way too much on the screen at once. Actually, remove the sometimes, because there's always too much on the screen. Look at this. Sometimes I can't even tell what killed me. Was it that dot? Was it the other dot? I have no idea, because this is clutter central. Most levels don't suffer from clutter though. They have enough enemies and collectibles on screen to entertain you, but not too much to give claustrophobia, unlike level 2. First level of Vectorman kind of set the standard, basic platforming, some shooting, and plenty of collectibles, and the level ends with a boss fight against a helicopter that shoots out missiles. That boss is super enjoyable to master and then beat. Trust me, you're gonna restart this game when you die, because you will die a lot. Did I mention that the soundtrack is great too? Because it is. Each song adds atmosphere to each stage, and atmosphere is a great thing in any game. Also, songs are sometimes just regular great songs, which is the common theme of the Sega Genesis, and it is a bop and a half. Anyway, back to how the music creates an atmosphere. Atmosphere plays a big role in Vectorman. This game draws you into its world. So, what's the world in this game like? Well, the game opens up with a brief cutscene telling you that you're a robot in the future on Earth. and you have to stop your evil leader. So this certainly isn't The Last of Us, but this is more story than plenty of other Sega Genesis games have built in. The game also features a nice little intro sequence. So back to my question from earlier, does Vectorman hold up in the modern era of gaming? Yes and no. If you're okay with being challenged and struggling playing a game, then Vectorman is perfect for you. The learning curve is steep, but it can also be rewarding. Challenge is frustrating for you, which I know it is for some people. Vectorman may not be the game for you. So now that we've answered the question that the game does hold up well, there's one question I'd like to ask. Why does Sega throw it into so many collections? Seriously, it feels like most Sega Genesis collections include at least the first Vectorman. Well, I think I know why. When you preserve your legacy, you want to make it look good. The Sega Genesis was a great console, but plenty of the best games aren't owned by Sega. Sega made plenty of great games, but a lot of them have great 16 graphics, which isn't a problem. I love great 16-bit games. They always look so colorful and great, but at the same time, adding in Vectorman makes the Sega Genesis look even more advanced, because for people who aren't experienced with how the sprites were made, can end up thinking, wow, they could do basic real-time 3D back then. Plus, Vectorman is just a solid game all around. It provides so much challenge that it can also draw in playtime, top it all off. Vectorman even has a community built around him. I hope one day we get another Vectorman, and I hope it keeps the spirit of the first one alive. The game also has a sequel, which I'll eventually get to, but I think for now it's better to leave it off here, so when I come back to this series, I'll be charged up and ready to go, so I can give Vectorman 2 the review it deserves. But for now, I'm Fuse. Thank you guys so much for watching. See ya!